What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be doing a comparative analysis of the SPY and Tesla over the last year and talk about why on earth this could give us a good indication of what the market may be doing next. Now, before I break anything down, this is actually going to be a very good video if you are new to the market or if you have a lot of experience. Believe me, this is a video you don't want to miss. Now, before I get started, I have to mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not giving any financial advice. Don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 6 free stocks, each worth up to $3,500. And the best part is, it's free money, so please check it out before they run out. It ends in just 1 week. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So, looking at Tesla and the SPY, you will notice the similarities in their trends. Both of them are respecting downward trends. Now, what's interesting about SPY, and we're going to start off with what SPY is doing. Look at what SPY was doing in the past, all right? Starting from this time frame, which is starting near the end of November 2021 up until today, the SPY's low right here was $444. And then it breaks up to its all-time high of $476. So this was the all-time high. And then what happened to SPY, that was the start of the indication of a downtrend, was it pushed down below support. So our support, our previous support where we saw this back and forth action, it was trying to hold 450, it broke below that, and then we made a new low. So this was a new low during this time frame for the SPY. I'm sure you guys will notice this. And then we got a little relief. We were trying to push up, like right here. It was just a temporary pop. We made a double top here, and we pushed even lower. So way down here. And you could tell 408 is much lower than 444, which was our previous low, which means the SPY made a new low. And then we pushed up. And instead of going to all-time highs again, instead of pushing to 480, 500, we got stopped at $460 a share, 462, right? And you'll notice this is now a lower high, right? A lower high. And then SPY starts dropping and dropping even harder, pretty darn hard, all the way down. What is that? To 378. And you'll notice 378 is much lower than this right here, which was 405. So now we're making a new low again. Then we tried to push up again. The SPY wanted to push up back in June. It ended up hitting 416, 415 a share, somewhere around there. And what you'll notice is we tried to make a high. We failed to do that. We made a new lower high. So the high went from being right here, where I'm pointing at right here. This was the high, 479. The next high turned to 460. The next high is now 400 and what is this? 420-ish a share, 415, whatever. Then we dropped down even lower to a new low again. Notice how we didn't hold 378. We dropped lower down to the 400. I'm sorry, did I say 400? I meant we didn't hold 378, so we dropped even lower than that, down to about $360, right? The 360s. And then what happened is we formed this double top again, and that's typically a bearish indication that we were trying to push up, and we got, a bit of a rejection. And it's looking like if this is the top, and I don't really know if this is going to be the next new lower high we're making. We could go a little higher later on. I mean, it still would be a downtrend, but it's looking more like the SPY pushed up to about 393, and it's set to see a little bit more downside and make a new low, right? Now, what could also happen is, let me close this. I mean, if we somehow get a big move to the upside, because you'll notice we made a double top here, kind of like this, and then we drop down. I mean, sometimes we could do unthinkable things. If we push up like this, we would most likely get stopped at this gap fill at 401 if we somehow are bullish. Let's just say hypothetically something happens, and we'd probably still drop down lower to a new low. So overall, it's looking kind of bearish, a little bit bearish. And I could actually draw this into a different color. So you're seeing this down trend that's being respected for SPY. If you compare it to Tesla, where was Tesla's all-time high? When Tesla kind of squoze, saw a lot of FOMO back around November 2021. And for SPY, at that time in November, SPY was at a high level. But what you'll notice is Tesla started to drop and started getting these peaks. And this is when we started to see the correlation between Tesla and SPY. Tesla dropped down to about 888. And then notice how January 3rd, 2022, Tesla hits its peak before we see a rejection, right? January 3rd, 2022. That is around the time the SPY hit its all-time high. This is where the really key correlation comes in. The SPY breaks down to its low on February 24th or something. When did Tesla hit its low? February 23rd, 24th. That's when Tesla hit its low right here. When did Tesla bounce all the way up to this is like a lower high, but this is the high we saw before another big drop. April 5th. This is when Tesla ran to about 1155. Look at SPY. April, it wasn't April, it was like around March 31st, March 29th, the SPY hits its high, drops down, and it actually pushes up again around April 5th. And that's the same time Tesla hits its high, then it starts dropping. Just as Tesla starts dropping. And what you'll notice if you zoom in like this, what is Tesla doing? It drops down hard and starts slowly uptrending a bit. What is SPY doing? Let me actually close these lines now. I hope that was clear for you. Please go back if you didn't catch everything. Look at what SPY is doing. There is a similarity there. It's slowly uptrending a bit. Now, how would we know if we're ready to break out or if we see a bullish reversal for the markets? And the way to find out is we have to make a new high. We have to break out of this trend. SPY was at 414 at one point. So for the SPY to turn bullish, for the bull market to start, this is what you got to see. Let me actually show you. And believe me, this will relate to Tesla. The SPY was doing this, right? For this to be a bull market, we can't be making lower highs and lower lows like this. What we need to do is we need to break like this above that previous low that we made, above the previous high as well. See that, make a new high compared to this one right here, break down and hold support at a higher level, and then start pushing and making new highs. That's what's gonna trigger, and that's how you're gonna know we're no longer in the bear market and we're more of in a bull market. Now in this part, I want us to do something else that's a little bit different, and that is you could see the similarities between SPY and Tesla and the overall market really in general. So when the SPY tends to be up like 1%, Tesla tends to be up 2 or 3%, and when the SPY is down 1 or 2%, the Tesla tends to be either trading sideways or even dropping a little bit harder. So that's what we've seen. We know that the time frames tend to be similar. And what are we seeing right now? We're seeing some temporary relief for Tesla starting to upward trend from here, but there's no guarantee, we haven't seen it yet, that Tesla is just going to continue to just uptrend from here, at least not yet. Now, the stock split could be a very bullish indicator for Tesla. It could actually cause a big market reversal, and it could really cause Tesla to actually start uptrending as we see a lot of buying pressure kind of come right back in. So to me, it does look kind of promising, but even that doesn't guarantee we won't just stop, respecting this trend. And we could actually understand some more future moves for Tesla based off what SPY is doing. Now, what I could do right now is I could actually show you guys a trend line. So kind of like, let me see what this would look like. here, about here. And I am doing this in real time, so I apologize if I'm a little bit off with the lines. And what you'll notice is that we have this tendency, we can see all these touches, we have this tendency of treating this trend line as resistance. And you can see the SPY's kind of tried to break out of it a little bit here and there. And once again, I could adjust it a little bit. I think I could do a better job there. Anyways, it's close enough. You guys can clearly see the trend. And when we break out of it a tiny bit, we end up just pushing right back down. And this is now a key resistance level. So when the market turns bullish, we're going to see a break out of this downtrend, and we're going to start pushing to higher highs and higher lows. Additionally, something else that you could look at, and you could actually do this for Tesla as well, right? Very similar in many ways. But I want to talk about something else. And this is something that can actually help you understand support and resistance levels for Tesla. And I think the SPY is the epitome of this. Let me zoom into this and show you what I'm talking about. So we have a very key range right here. Let me show you where this range is by using this horizontal line. Right here, you could see between here and maybe like right here. Notice how within this zone, this has been a very, very key either support or resistance level for SPY. And when you have these zones, they could become demand zones or resistance zones. So what you'll notice is the SPY was dropping down here, right? We had this support here. We bounced off of it, then we dropped way down, we gapped way down here, and now this was acting as resistance. Then finally we broke past it, we held above it, and now this ended up acting as support, and we pushed up. Then check this out, we push all the way up, we drop down, and once again it's support. Push up, support. We push up again, support again, and finally we got to push up. And when we test these lines so much, it's an indication that we could actually see this thing dump below this in the future, especially because we have a gap here. So do I know when? Not just yet. I mean, it is possible for us to push a little higher, just a little bit up here before seeing more red. But right now it still is looking like we are expecting a bit of a downtrend. And I'm not seeing signs of us kind of breaking out of it just yet. So as a result of that, what does this mean for Tesla? Tesla doesn't have to move exactly how SPY does. The SPY could trade flat for a few weeks, and Tesla could actually push up a little bit. We've actually seen that happen. We've seen a few days where SPY was kind of red and Tesla was green. But right now, right, we could get a nice push up here if the bulls are kind of waiting for it. But right now, I'm not seeing the true sign yet that we haven't found, or we already found the bottom. So next week, maybe Tesla could run and touch like 740. Maybe we fill a gap higher than that. But until we start making those higher highs, we should assume that downside is still very likely to come. Now we have the splits maybe coming. That could be a very, very bullish indicator that Tesla is going to make some very good moves. But until then, the future is still capricious and downside is still imminent in my opinion. Now, another thing we could use to kind of understand the direction would be our EMAs. So if I actually look up some EMAs, you would be able to see the trend we're on. And one of the important ones would be the 200 EMA, which is the dark blue line. And you could see we've been expecting a downtrend, and it's been continuing to downtrend over and over again from here. So we haven't even broke above the EMAs. Many of them can actually act as resistance levels. For Tesla, what am I seeing for Tesla? So we know that the trend is still kind of down. We're seeing a little bit of relief right here. Is 626 the bottom? I don't know yet. I'm going to talk about this from a Wyckoff perspective in my next video. But right now, you'll notice Tesla is still kind of trading below the 200 EMA. It's still pushing down. So if we get a break above that, that would be, I would say, a decent sign, but we're not seeing it just yet. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes. But right now it's looking like there could be a little relief, but the market's maybe kind of letting them, the market makers and the big institutions, maybe letting some relief in there, maybe even going into early next week for a few days, because we're on the edge right now. We don't know what earnings are going to show. We don't know if the Fed is going to be even more hawkish just yet. And it does look like they may be now. It looks more probable now than before. And we don't know what the GDP report is truly going to show until it comes out. It seems very imminent that a recession is going to be announced. And like I said, I mean, the market could drop from that. It's just the uncomfortable truth. We also have uh, we have more room for potential downside maybe for the next 2 weeks. It is still possible, but I do think August should be a better month for Tesla. That's just my personal opinion because of the split, because of big news. Maybe after their earnings, we could see some improvements just temporarily. And we have another FOMC meeting coming out, I believe, in September. That could also be kind of bearish depending on what the market does. But until we see the Fed switch to quantitative easing, until we actually see that big sign, it's most likely, more likely than not, that we're probably going to continue on this trend until the Fed kind of switches its stance. But with that out of the way, this is essentially what the chart is showing. I'm going to do a better analysis on, for Monday a little bit later. I am going to be a little bit busy tonight and for tomorrow, all of tomorrow, so my videos will have to be pre-recorded. But I should be back on Sunday, if not Sunday, hopefully Monday. With that said, thank you for listening. I hope I brought some value into your guys' lives because, yeah, the trend, I mean, we are uptrending now. We can see Tesla's starting to try to push up a little bit. There's no key sign yet that we're ready to just start pushing to all-time highs. It doesn't look like that just yet. It looks more like we're going to push up a bit. We could actually go a little bit higher, maybe get closer to the higher 700s, maybe at the highest. But considering SPY looks kind of bearish, considering SPY looks like it's going to take a hit relatively soon, considering all the factors in the markets, I mean, Tesla does look like it's going to follow until maybe the date of the stock split. That's when we could see some relief. Until then, I mean, this is what the chart is showing. There could be more downside. And I hope I brought some value into your guys' lives by talking about different indicators you could use, the trends and EMAs. And specifically for Tesla, one other thing we could look at is the support zones. So right here, there's a support zone around that 620 range. That's holding us up so far. But if we start testing it over and over again, there is the possibility of us kind of breaking below it. So it's one of those things you'd have to wait and see how Tesla performs. You'd have to wait and see what the data shows. And that's kind of like the key path we're on. Now, one last thing I want to say to you, okay, is if the Fed becomes more hawkish now, if the Fed is more hawkish, the market is going to bleed a little bit more now than it would have, but we may see a faster recovery. The recovery may be seen sooner than some people would anticipate. So with that said, the best thing to do as a Tesla investor, and it's not financial advice, by the way, is pay very close attention to the Fed, pay close attention to what markets are doing, pay attention to the SPY, the overall market, and also be very, very wary that we can't time the bottom perfectly. We don't truly know when the uptrend is going to start until maybe a little bit later. So with that said, this is a good opportunity to dollar cost average down, to just remain calm, cool, and collected, and just be patient. All right? This is not going to last forever. The downtrend, I mean, I think historically they last about 9 or so months, 9 to 12 months. So we could be just a few months away for a huge bullish rally to start. If not, 5 more months, who knows? My point is, if you're just patient, if you give it time, eventually the Fed is going to kind of switch their policies. Eventually, inflation is going to come down, in my opinion. It may take time, but it's going to happen. And the markets will switch directions, and trading and everything like that is going to become a lot easier. With that said, thank you for listening. I hope I brought some value into your guys' lives, and I'll most definitely see you guys in the next one. Tesla to the moon, and peace out.